Come one, come all, it's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. How are we doing, Keith?
We're fine. How are you?
Yeah, someone doesn't read his text messages. That's what I'm saying. Just ask you for one favour. In like 6 months, he just couldn't be bothered to read the message. Damn. Right. Well, we got some bits. We got some good news to talk. Well, I don't know if it's good news. We'll find out probably later on down the line that we've got some good news to talk about. We've got a new TV series on Apple that Keith told me to watch, which I watched the first episode for, and I'm a bit.
There's two episodes.
Yeah, no, there's 3. When I got it, I only got through 1. And then we're going to talk about sex education because that's fun, and that was nice, and I enjoyed that, and it made doing 5k on the treadmill really easy when you've got something to keep you entertained. Even though it took like just under an episode because I'm a fat bastard and I can't run very fast. Anyway, without further ado, how are we doing, Keith?
It's been an interesting week. Certainly, some news towards the end of the week was a bit of sort of really, and yeah. I watched Foundations, which I'm sure we'll talk about. There's 2 episodes releasing the next one next Friday. But that was interesting, so we'll talk about that. I haven't seen much else, to be honest, other than the usual catching up on bits that aren't really to do with this podcast. Only Vigil, which is still silly, but I have to watch the end of it. But yeah, nothing really much else this week, I have to admit, other than YouTube videos.
Okay. I saw Babster yesterday.
How did that go?
That went all right. I thought he was taller. It's always the same when you meet people. With the exception of the guy Joe Flanagan, who played John Shepherd on Stargate, he was the opposite. He was taller. I was expecting to be shorter, but he turned out he was a lot taller. So yes, we did that. That was that. Hello, Babster. Sorry, mate. I was going to invite you on and everything, but everything just went to crap at the last moment. I'm not feeling very well. I think I've got black country disease. I don't know.
To give you a cup of Bovril.
No, I didn't give him a cup of Bovril. Showed us this cool retro game shop. Took lots of photos and videos and stuff, and me and I put some videos together, and I made Babs cry with laughing at the end where we tried to do the sign off because you have to keep, because I did it in the same style as my what do you call it? The same style as my incredibly awesome travel vlog, where we have to be stony faced for everything, and he couldn't keep stony faced. There's a bit where he's like talking, he's like. A ton of outtakes from that, so I'll put that together and that'll be an interesting watch. I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I may be a bit energy deficient this week, so you're gonna have to excuse me for that one. But without further ado, let's talk about the big news of the week, and that being that Doctor Who is getting a new old showrunner. And I sent you a text saying it's got so bad they've had to hit the freaking reset switch. So they've gone back to Russell T Davies and said, look, can you do something?
It's interesting, the timing of this, because this is very much going to detract from the final season. I mean, the final season hasn't aired. We've still got 9 episodes of the shitfest that is current Doctor Who to air. Why release this now? I mean, he is not taking over till 2023. You know, the first episode we are going to see from Russell T Davies is 2 years away, right? Yes. I don't think we're going to get a Doctor announcement probably before the end of the year, if not into next year. I think it will be after the 6th season, or this 6-episode season airs, and prior to the 3 specials. But it's the timing of this. You know, I mean, they could have done a deal with the BBC and it not leak. But it's interesting because it's not just Russell T Davies; it's the entire creative team that brought back Doctor Who. So they formed a partnership with Bad Wolf Productions, but Bad Wolf Productions is the two people that were producing Doctor Who for the BBC, for BBC Wales. They worked for BBC Wales, Judy Gartner and that other dude. And they then formed
Phil Collinson, I think it was, because
yeah.
he wants to be Phil Collins. Yeah.
And they formed Bad Wolf Productions. So it's the three. It's the original three.
Right. This is how I think it goes. Right. One, that the BBC screwed the pooch.
Yes.
Yeah, they screwed the pooch and they realized they screwed the pooch, but they couldn't say they were screwing the pooch and they couldn't admit that they screwed the pooch. So they went, what's the best way out of this? And they went, well, Julie Gardner and the others, they've got their own TV show and it's kind of named after Doctor Who. Do you think they'd be interested in making Doctor Who? And they probably approached Russell T Davies and he probably sent them messages saying, what are you doing with Doctor Who? And I think that's that. I think there was dialogue and lots of dialogue happening long before we heard anything. I'm talking probably before the Timeless Children came out for Doctor Who. So I think that this probably was in the work, and I think this is Russell T Davies's retirement plan, because if he does it well and it carries on and there are merchandising bits and he's got access to those rights and they get sold through the Bad Wolf thingy via the BBC, blah blah blah, and he gets the cream a little bit off top, if it's popular, then he can use that to fund his retirement. That's one thing I think. I think that's the case. I think where he's probably looked at it and gone, I need something for retirement. I've not really thought about it. And if he gets something big like that in play, then he can then sort out his retirement. So I think that's probably primary motivation for him. And he's probably had chats with Stephen Moffat and bits and talked about stories that he wanted to do and bits. Then I reckon if he does do it and does bring it back, I reckon he will probably bring back Moffat as a consultant.
Yeah, that's what I reckon, that we might see Moffat as a writer of an episode or two.
But writer of the episode here and there, because he was the one who he would ask in regards to storyline wise, this is wise and this, that, and the other. And it's funny because Moffat, I think, would go to him and ask about dramatic storytelling and whatnot. Which kind of a nice little kind of codependency, shall we say. And Moffat all of a sudden has become very funny on Twitter, like he's happy. Not Twitter, Instagram. Sorry, he doesn't do Twitter. He does Instagram, so he's got some pictures. He went to an award ceremony and left his tag on, the security tags you get on. He bought like a coat from Marks and Spencer's and left the security tag on it. And he's got a picture. I left the security tag on there. I thought that was funny. The first couple of questions is, are they going to undo the Timeless Children, because that ruined the idea of Doctor Who? That actually doesn't make any sense with the rest of Doctor Who either. Because everyone points at lots of things and there's lots of stories and this, that, and the other. And even the Valiard, where the Valiard character back in Colin Baker's era, they said it was between his 7th and his last regeneration. So we haven't seen that character turn up yet. So you still got the option for that, and that doesn't fit if the Timeless Child, they can regenerate infinitely. So that doesn't make any sense. Then there's all the Trenzalore stuff, because it was like kind of in Trenzalore, original timeline, Doctor dies, but somehow in the new timeline, I know you don't like her, Clara persuades Time Lords to unlock his regenerations, because regenerations are supposed to be unlimited, but they are locked off by Time Lords. So 2 Time Lords got unlimited regenerations, and that was Rassilon and Omega. Sorry, go nerdy. And everyone else got 13. And that's because they wanted to stay around forever. That's why Rassilon is such a tyrant. If I remember correctly, I might be wrong with the Omega part of it. I'm sure it was the 2 of them. They decided, you know what, everyone else only gets 13.
Well, Rassilon was sent into exile when Capaldi's Doctor came back. I don't know how they're going to undo the Timeless Children.
I know the best way they can undo the Timeless Children, and it comes from a Rick and Morty episode with worms that would retcon themselves into stories. Yeah, do you remember that episode where he locks himself in the house and the worms? The Timeless Child could be some kind of temporal parasite, and it could be feeding on the Time Lords for energy because they got regeneration energy. Yeah, and the master might be infected, and that might explain why he's extra crazy and extra coked up. That's how I would do it. I would turn around and say the timeless child
Um,
isn't a doctor; it's a fucking space parasite. And also thematically, that fits with the destruction of Doctor Who, where you've got these people who are like parasites trying to destroy Doctor Who. Yeah,
you could be right, but don't forget that Chris Chibnall and Russell T Davies are friends.
No. Hang on a second. No, they're
mm,
friends. They're friends in public. But I've seen Russell T Davies go and not answer questions about Chris Chibnall until now. All of a sudden, now they're friends because they need
no, but
them
they
to be
were
friends.
They
They
were
were friends
friends
beforehand, but when he took over, Russell T Davies is like, "What is this shit?" He's got a look on his face. It's him and Moffat there's him and Moffat in a at some kind of party together, and Russell T Davies is fucking massive. Yeah, he's like
he's a big boy.
6'5". He's huge. When somebody says, "Oh, you've got to fill Russell T Davies's shoes," they're big shoes. Just normal, just actual shoe size is huge. Yeah, and it was always like kind of and Moffat throwing shade at him too. They both had done that. He'd written a story how the Doctor had regenerated into objects because he probably thought it was fucking funny. Yeah, and I think that one, because you've got this is two things that's happened here. One, they've given it back to Russell T Davies, so they've hit the reset switch, and two, they've taken it out of BBC mainstream to be made and put it into BBC Studios to be made. Now, the great thing about that is if they play their money right and they do actually, bring it back to the worldwide audience like Matt Smith's era was, yeah, because it was popular, but when it got to Matt Smith, it went through the roof. Yeah, if they can get it to that, then it'd be good. They want this is and I'm an old man. And this sounds really bad, but they need sexy young doctor, sexy young female companion. If you're going to have a sexy young doctor, you can have a sexy young female doctor and a sexy young male companion. That would work, but they've got to be sexy and young to bring in.
I think if bringing Davis back, it's going to be male. Hopefully, he will make him asexual or a Captain Jack-like character that just flirts with everybody. It's got to be one or the other. I found, as I said, I do find the timing curious. I do find that curious, but some of the things that knob end Piers Wagner, why that man is still the fucking head of the BBC drama, I will not know because he's an idiot. But he's banged on about how great Chibnall's thing is, and how Russell T Davies is going to be brought in to continue the,
But hang on a second, hold on a second. It's like the Prime Minister when he turns around and he says about a minister, say the Minister of Education, I have the utmost confidence in their position to do the job. Oh, and we've got rid of them. So I don't know. There is politics, and office politics being played.
I do agree with you because again, the timing to me makes it like the BBC know that Doctor Who is dead, and this is going to potentially get people watching the last season because they know it's going to get better. At the end of the day, my one concern, and don't get me wrong, is that Russell T Davies, being a gay man, likes to put a lot of gay characters in his thing, and that's fine. There was a running joke in the first season of Torchwood that there were just too many gay aliens running around Cardiff, which wasn't entirely off the thing. What I don't want them to do is make a gay doctor. Now, that's not anti-phobic. I don't like the doctor being in love with anyone. Rose was the exception. Because of the Billy Piper played her so well that you kind of understood that. But I'd rather the Doctor either be asexual or flirt with anyone. I don't mind it being kind of Captain Jack when we first were introduced to Captain Jack, because Captain Jack just flirted with anyone. It didn't matter you were male, female, or anyone. I kind of like that.
Look, I think when it kind of comes to the story and the Doctor and bits. The Doctor's been around humans longer than human life is, yeah. So he's seen relationships and stuff, and part of me thinks that he might want that kind of companionship that he sees, yeah. And I think that is possible, and I don't think he should be flirting with anyone because he's
it's just the timing of the announcement. It's weird that it's come now. There's no new Doctor Who series until next year, or is there? No, there is
No,
meant to
there
be
is.
this year.
There is. There's
We're
a new
meant to be
one
getting
coming up
series.
soon, very soon.
Do you think? But why announce this before?
Because they're trying to drum it up so people get excited and they go, you know what? I might give Doctor Who another chance. If not, I could just wait out through the series, and Russell T Davies is taking over. So that might be it. So I think, hang on a second, I'm going to share my screen because I've got the article here on.
But
BBC.
he said he would never go back, and the fact that he's coming back. I mean, is he coming back for one season or multiple seasons?
Have you ever watched him when he turns around and goes, "He'd never go back"?
Yeah, I know.
He always
loves
goes,
it because
"I'll never go back," and does that.
But
every time.
I mean, I've got it's back in the UK because I'd love to get it, and I might try and buy the Kindle version again. He wrote an entire book on how he created the fourth series of with Donna and everything, and it was his final season, and how he had actually come up with because if they hadn't got Donna, they were going to bring what's her face, Amy Pond was Russell T Davis's creation, and then Stephen Moffat kind of adapted her for Matt Smith's one, but then they kind of secured Catherine Tate, and that was enough said. And again, I love Donna. I think is still my favorite companion from that respect because they were mates, not lovers, and I liked that camaraderie.
I like that too because she as good as she got. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that for me, but as a character, that works because it's having the Martha character. I love the Martha character. Probably because I could probably associate. I know she's like all gooey eyes at the Doctor, but nothing happens. So, but it's
the book he wrote was just fascinating. The detail and the thought processes that he went through creating this series, and it's a really interesting book. And you read that and you realize, when we say, "Oh, the writing is terrible," read that. If you don't understand why we criticize Chris Chibnall so much, read Russell T Davies' book. Then you'll understand. Because believe me, there is no way the amount of thought has gone into writing any of that shit that he spouted out. Chibnall went in there thinking, I've got a platform to spout my fucking identity political bullshit, and that's what Doctor Who has been. And it's been supported by somebody that thinks that wokeism is the best thing to happen ever. The BBC head of drama, who's meant to be impartial, I might point out, is on record as saying that.
And this is the problem with the BBC. They're all far left and they think they're centre. That's the problem. They're all far left and they all think they're centre. They genuinely do, and that's where the problem is. Is this?
Not all of them are, because somebody's suddenly woken up and gone, one of our best performing programs isn't performing anymore. Who do we bring?
Would it be the what do you call it? The minister that the bloody Tories put in place to sort out the BBC?
I think this actually might be I think this might be the chairman of the BBC, who is a bit wiser than the new chairman of the BBC. But it's just interesting. That's all I'm going to say. And I think you're right. I do. Somebody's realised that they fucked up big time. Because who do you bring back? The man that relaunched Doctor Who and made it into the huge success it was. And Stephen Moffat then went and took it into the stratosphere in America. Because before, it was Moffat's Doctor and Matt Smith's Doctor that really hit big in America. But it was Russell T Davies that modernised it. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, arguably, we love Moffat's episodes in Russell T Davies's era. But Russell T Davies, I still maintain, was the better showrunner because he was better able to get all the writers onto the same page. And I just think he did a better job of that. Don't get me wrong, Moffat has some of the best episodes and some of the best storylines, but I think
we never did that when we did the you pick a series of Russell T Davies and I pick a series of Moffat, and we can put them up against each other. And because I think Moffat was a better genre writer.
Yes,
he can do science fiction. And he's done probably one of the I think the best episode of Doctor Who, which is Hellbent, the one where he's trapped in the confession doll. You can watch that on its own, along with Blink is another one that you can watch on their own.
Blink is one of my favorite episodes of all time.
Yeah.
But the Blink was from the Russell T Davies era.
But you have to remember that he had Stephen Moffat helping him out all the way. Stephen Moffat didn't get credited for half the stuff that he's done.
I think the two of them make an awesome team. And I'm hoping, beyond hope, that Russell T Davies persuades Moffat to come back and write a good two-parter. That would be the ultimate dream. A Russell T Davies season with a two-parter sandwiched in the middle, written by Stephen Moffat. I'd be like, oh, yes.
Do you know what I want him to do? I want him to turn around and say to Stephen King's son, I can't remember his bloody name now, Stephen King's son, write an episode. I want to go to JMS and say, write an episode. I apologise for my colleagues. They're somewhat arseholes. Yeah? And so you just get one episode, though. Make the most of it. And note, we have budget constraints. Yeah? And as long as you take those things on board, write an episode. Get clever.
But here's the thing. Both of them, both Moffat and Russell T Davies were great at sowing those seeds throughout those seasons. And we would fucking go, oh, shit, like we missed the vote for fucking what's-his-face, the master thing. Throughout. I love those little things. I love going back and seeing all those little bloody Easter eggs. And look, it's hard not to be amazingly excited about this. But I have to temper it a bit because this is the BBC. Now, I love Russell T Davies. I loved Years and Years. I thought it was very good. Some people will argue it because it was very biased. It was very anti a certain orange-faced person. But there was a story there. It was brilliantly written. It wasn't, there was, don't get me wrong, some politicalness in there, but it was a good story. Doctor Who might get good again, and I'll be so happy if it is, but you have got to undo the Timeless Children. You do not know that fucking idiot Wagner does not get. When Chin Balls came to him and said, I want to do this, he could have gone, are you fucking insane? You know, there is a legacy. It's a 60 fucking year legacy as a 58 year legacy. You don't undo that in a 5-minute monologue with no goddamn acting in there except some silly bird and replace William fucking Hartnell with a 5-year-old black girl. I mean, I'm sorry.
It was right. I think it works like this, yeah? Russell T Davies is woke, but he's not a woke writer. If that makes sense.
I don't think he's that woke. I don't think he's batshit crazy woke.
Right.
There's batshit crazy woke, and then there's acceptable woke. You might not agree with everything that they say, but there's some acceptable things to their thing, you know? Okay.
Right, going back to Russell T Davies, because there were things in Russell T Davies's writing that I looked at and went, why the fuck has he done that? And do you remember the little red guy in Voyage of the Damned?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the little red cactus who was part cybernetic.
Yeah,
and they made out that being cybernetic was like being gay, and people were homophobic. Why? That bit was making me go, oh. And I'll be honest with you, when Moffat came along, that stuff disappeared. When he did like gay characters, you had that. Remember the agent in The Impossible Astronaut, yeah? Played by, I can't remember, but his dad played himself in the future, which was great. Mark Sheppard, that was his name. And he played the character. And there were hints at him being gay. And then it was revealed at the end that the reason they had trouble was because he was gay. Yeah? And that was done well because it wasn't the focal point of the character. It was just one aspect of the character. Yeah? Which was the motivation for him getting this, that, and the other. But it wasn't everything. I'm a little worried that there might be a bit.
But Russell T Davies does like to writing gay characters where he can, but usually these characters have substance, and they're not just gay for the sake of it.
Yeah, no.
I knew we might get onto this because the perfect example.
Because my favorite gay character of all time is Captain Jack. He's not omnisexual. He's gay. All right, just have done with it. Okay, that because as a character, it was one aspect of him. Yeah. He had all these other things going about him. He had he had a missing year that he didn't know what happened in that missing year. He had a backstory which he didn't know too much about. He was also doing time agent stuff which we didn't know. We came from somewhere who would tell stories about things. And so, where how did you get this and this, that, and the other? And also, I think Moffat killed him off. Do you remember Moffat killing him off? Yeah. Yep. Where River Song gets the thingy and he turns around and goes, "I've got this other handsome time agent. Oh, you've left his hand." He got killed off by headless monks. You know that, don't you?
Yes.
That's why he turned into the big face.
Yes.
Because his body had, just to point out, it was one of those things. Because Moffat was like, I'm going to kind of wrap this up quietly behind the scenes. It's going to be better. It's going to be better. The question is,
there's no two.
Are they going to repair? Are they going to repair Chibnall's damage? That's the big thing.
It's the thing. The thing that hurts so much is it. You know. Okay, look. I know that you say Moffat has bosses and everything, but when no.
I know. Hang on a second. Hold on. I didn't say that. Stephen Moffat said that.
Yeah. I know. But it's
in person.
It was so obvious what they were trying to do. Just to replace an old crusty white man with a young black girl. It was so obvious what they were doing. Here, look, I am blatantly up for a Black Doctor. I think it's about bloody time. And there are plenty of actors out there that could do it and do a really interesting take on the Doctor. I mean, even for fuck's sake, even Joe Martin did a damn bloody much better.
Yes,
was a good Doctor.
She was. Joe Martin was a much better Doctor. She got the character and she understood how the character worked. Even though, according to her, she didn't know that until a couple of days beforehand.
But
so she was left in the she was left in the whole dark about that, and she had zero time to prepare. But she nailed the Doctor quicker.
She had that twist on a knife edge from being wacky to fucking don't mess with me. She was the Doctor. There's no twos about it. I could do a season of her. I could. And I'd be interested to see that. I think knowing Russell T Davies, he'll replace him with a male, but I might be wrong.
No, I'm hoping. As I said, we need a reset. It doesn't work.
Yes, but I could do a season of Joe Martin. If they announce tomorrow, Joe Martin's the next Doctor, I could do that. And maybe that's a way of getting out of the timeless child. It might. Might.
Nah. Space Worm, that's rewritten history. That's the way to get out of it.
Well, no, because she's meant to be a Doctor. They have heavily hinted that she was a Doctor that previous to.
She's the retcon worm.
Yeah, well, if she's
the timeless child. She's rewritten history and inserted herself, so she can
could be.
On the blood of time.
Let's hope it's that. Because
that's much better. That makes it sinister too. Yeah. It's like kind of like one of the Doctor Who episodes that got me is probably what was the one where the Missy reveal one with the Cybermen and death and Don't Burn Me. My God, for children, that was terrifying. It was like kind of no. What do you mean wasn't?
Wasn't she? Every time I see Michelle Gomez as the Master, it doesn't matter what episode, I get goosebumps. She's so goddamn good. She was so goddamn good in that part.
She was.
It's like when she goes, Master, renamed Mistress.
I couldn't really go around calling myself Master now. It's fantastic. That was great because it was like one of those bits where you went, shit, it was fucking obvious now. He's like, oh, it makes so much sense. Oh, that's really good. And that I enjoyed the hell out of that. And it's as I said, it needs to be a sexy bloke. You need to get those female fans back. People who watch like Twilight and Harry Potter and things. They're the ones that you want on for Doctor Who. You had Matt Smith, as I said, blew into the stratosphere. People like David Tennant, the Americans like Matt Smith. Pick someone in that vein. And you got a winner there, I think. And then you need a sexy companion, and you can do the will they, won't they shit, because that also seems to work.
I don't know. You could also do a Donna style relationship, but you have to cast the right person. That's the thing. Yeah.
Okay, I think we talked about Doctor Who long enough. We've been on for a full half hour. We could probably harp on for another half hour, but we'll save that because we'll
It's of course it's the optimistic news though, and it's the best news we've had for a long while.
It goes like, from my perspective, it goes like this. Yeah, he's gonna resurrect it by hitting the reset button, or he's gonna bury it in a very deep grave.
You can't blame him.
I cannot see any other outcome.
I don't think he will bury it. I know he genuinely loves Doctor Who. He genuinely loves it. It is his baby. And I think he's coming back because he knows his baby's been badly bruised and he's coming back to, fix his baby. And I don't care if he's only going to do it. He's coming back and he's got the 60th episode. And you can guarantee that's going to be
because one thing, when Moffat did the 50th and he had it in the cinema and everything, and there was big TV blowouts and everything, Russell T Davies was going, you could have done that if you just held on just a little longer. Yeah. And he's probably gone, no, fuck it, I'm having the 60th and he'll do something good. I'm hoping he'll have a budget for it too. That'll be one to watch in the cinema, hopefully. I'm going to sit down and watch that in the cinema. Maybe you might make it back in the UK and watch it together. That would be cool. I can hope. Anyway, the next one we were going to talk about was Foundation on I was going to say Sky Plus, Apple Plus. I've had Apple Plus for almost a year and I've watched nothing on it, despite having recommendations to watch a comedy on it revolving around a football team in England. I've not watched anything on it. So I watched Foundation today because I wanted to check, because I woke up, I had a mad dream that I'd been charged for an Apple. I'm not joking. This is what I've had. I've not been feeling great. And I had one of those weird dreams where it's like kind of, you've been charged for a year of Apple TV for like 90 quid. Yeah. So I'm going to check to see if I'm still subscribed and when the subscription runs out. 4th of December. Thank God for that. So I'm not paying a year's worth of Apple TV because it's not that good. So then I decided to watch Foundation. It's only because I had a mad dream that I'd paid 90 quid a year for Apple Plus. So it's right. It's an Isaac Asimov adaptation from the early 60s.
Let's be clear. It's loosely, and I do mean loosely, based on it. And the second episode makes that very apparent, actually. Now, you have to really see the second episode, because the end of the second episode, knowing Foundation, and I know a fair bit about it, what the fuck was the end of the second episode?
I've only watched one. I've only watched one episode. Right. I told you this beforehand.
Yeah, you have to see the second episode to form.
I will watch it, and there's 3 episodes. There's 3 episodes.
No, two.
No, there's 3.
You
may have 2. I have 3.
No, you have a third one that says coming on Friday, because they do this now with everything. Have a look. The third one is coming on Friday, whatever it is. Because I show 3, but only 2 are available to watch. But the first, go on, you go with your opinion.
The short is, I watched the first one and I looked at it, and one of the thoughts that came into my head was, my God, they could do the Centauri in B5 really good justice now with the special effects.
That's exactly what I thought.
I went, that's how I imagine Centauri Prime was pictured in JMS's head, maybe a bit more opulent with a few more kind of gold painted things, but with the what do you call it? What were the morning, the day and dusk? That's what I picture for the Centauri
dawn, day and dusk. 3 emperors, all decanted. What was the terminology? Decanted at various ages, basically. So they are clones of the original emperor that sought peace throughout the empire. Now, what they don't mention is the empire is about 12,000 years old. Interestingly,
no, 500 years, didn't it? Yes.
The emperor had ruled for that amount of time, but the actual empire itself
ruled for 300 years. But you're paying attention, boy. All right. Anyway,
it was 4 centuries, which is true. It's the same in the Foundation, but the book Foundation, the empire has been around for 12,000 years, but had fought many wars, and then in the 4 centuries previously, this emperor basically became a tyrant and therefore sought peace throughout the thing by being an absolute ass, and then started cloning himself because he wanted to just continue, all in the name of peace, mind you. Bearing in mind this was written in 1940.
49, I think. Right at the end. Is that early 60s? Are you sure? Because I was looking this morning.
Foundation 1942, I believe.
1942. Isaac Asimov Foundation. There it goes, Foundation. Written in 51. 51, 52, and 53.
May 1942.
1942? Foundation?
Yes, published. No, they were then formed into a novel, but originally they were published in a magazine.
Ah, okay. All right, the books came out 51. All right. That's fine. That probably explains why I've got looking up the books if they were short stories, because they did the same thing with War of the Worlds with H.G. Wells.
I mean, the start of it, and you see the archive, and the archive is exactly how it appeared in an Asimov sketch that then appeared on the front of the novel. That was awesome, and that scene of the boat, with the planets as she's been taken to meet, that was amazing. I mean, that just how this thing looks is just incredible. Did you? I mean, you're right. I had Centauri in my head, but I also had Coruscant in my head as well, because there is a very definitely, yeah, it does.
Yeah, the city was the Star Bridge or space elevator. That was quite cool. I hate the idea. I hate the idea of fucking space elevators, because I work for a company that makes elevators, and trying to sort one out just to go up and down really large buildings difficult enough, and people don't understand the effort that goes into that sort of stuff. Let alone getting it into space. That was interesting. There's they gender and race swapped the main character out. So
they've
girl
gender swapped numerous characters out because, in fairness, Foundation had no female characters of note at all.
Okay. I'd just like to point out that the guy playing Harry's aide, I can't remember his name. I just remember it's Harry's aide. I would have preferred him to play the main character because I kind of like him as an actor.
Isn't he Harry Potter?
Yes, he was in Harry Potter. Yes.
I thought so.
He was in Harry Potter. He was, but I would have preferred him to, because I've seen him act and stuff, and he's quite an interesting person to watch. The actress who's playing the Dahl character, she clearly doesn't understand what she's saying line wise, and it shows at the back of her eyes when she's talking about the math stuff. She's like kind of, I know, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. But it shows that she doesn't quite believe what she's saying, because she doesn't quite understand it. Where you've got the guy who plays Harry, and he's been around for yonks, and he's a world-class bullshitter, shall we say, actor. That's how we're going to describe actors from now on, world-class bullshitters. But she's like she's a bit younger, so the thing isn't that kind of buy-in's not there. Yeah, the guy from the League of Gentlemen in there as the spy. That reminded me of Centauri too. It was great watching him, because he had the American accent, and then he lost it when he said he was a spy. I was like, oh, thank God for that.
That's when I first got, when she's sitting in the garden of the palace. That's when Centauri Prime first came in. I went, oh, this has been influenced.
And the paintings and stuff too. When they're doing the things with the paintings, and he shot the old fella. I found that really annoying, because the old fella should have just turned around and goes, "Oh, sorry, sir, I read it. It's all bollocks to me." But that gave me Cartagia, pangs, shall we say?
It's interesting, because reading through it, it's only going to be a fifth. It's only going to take account of the fifth of the first book, but already. While I say it's loosely based, there are hints that there are some things to come, because I certainly know from the book's point of view, without giving any spoilers away, there's a lot more. Harry's up to a lot more than you first account for.
Can I point something out. Yeah,
Mm.
I know for a fact that he finishes his book, and I know for a fact that it's the second best-selling book of all time, behind The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it's only because The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is slightly cheaper and has the words "Don't panic" in friendly lettering across it. I never see. I knew that because he was like the Encyclopedia Galactica, and that's referenced in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And that one was like, "Oh, dude, mate, that book's not going anywhere, mate. Forget it." Serious cybernetics corporation is going to overtake you there with their "Don't Panic" cheap version that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Earth harmless. Sorry,
I've got a little.
it. Mostly harmless.
I have a little black leather backed edition with embossed "Don't Panic" on the back of it that I bought, and it's a tiny one. It's only about that big. Of Hitchhiker's, the original one, which I bought in a weird little shop in Delhi Airport when I was delayed by a few hours, and I read the entire thing in the time it took me to travel down, and I loved it. And
it wasn't that long because I read that.
No,
I read that one and the second one on holiday, and I didn't read the next three.
I think I read the first one in about 5 or 6 hours. It's not that long. Because
it's a good read though, because it keeps you turning. It's a good page turner.
But the third title of the third Foundation novel is kind of a giveaway as to what's really going on. But just a hint. But I don't know if they're going to do it in this. But I have to say, I really enjoyed the first episode. I enjoyed the second episode. It's different. I think this is going to go down a slightly anthology kind of thing with following the Foundation storyline, because obviously Foundation is set over 1,000 odd years. But something happens at the end of the second episode that I did not see coming, and I'm like, okay, I need to now know what the fuck is going on. And that has differed from the books. So, or does it? We just don't know.
Yeah. I'm just looking at some of the bits in here. So, yes. It's...
but they've spent a shitload of money on it.
The problem is, it is on Apple TV. That's his biggest flaw in all of this. That it's on Apple TV.
I don't know. I mean, Ted Lasso's done a hell of a lot of good for Apple TV, and they have picked up a shit ton of subscribers on that off the back of that. So people, and they've been heavily plugging Foundation for the last couple of weeks. So, and they've got this other thing coming, Invasion, which looks, again,
yes,
big budget and interesting.
I got 2 adverts for Invasion's book or anywhere near Foundation. I turned it on, Invasion. Oh, it's got Sam Neill in it. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then it started Foundation, and it was like, oh, look, it's Invasion again. It's got Sam Neill in it. It's awesome. I think it's going to be a good one. I really do think it'll be a good one. The question is it can keep it going? The actress, I'm hoping, will kind of grow into the role a bit, if that makes any sense. Because if she doesn't, I don't quite buy her. It's annoying because she's young. I think that might be the problem when I'm old.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the biggest thing. And she doesn't look like she hasn't learned to do the look past what the fuck is saying. That's why I used to get English actors to play aliens, because they can do the look past. You know, there's a grab father's hammer nonsense. Yeah, it's, you know, she's like kind of. I'm supposed to be a genius, but I've got this vacant look in my eye when you talk about maths. That's the thing. I'm a genius who zones out when we talk about the intricacies of algorithms. Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah. That's it's one to watch. I'm gonna watch the second one later on when I'm feeling a little better. I think I think I'm a bit dehydrated, but might be causing it. Sex Education.
Yes.
On Netflix. A show that I would describe as being incredibly woke, but actually really good. Apart from, I got annoyed at the way that the gender neutral character was done, because it was the skateboarding dog from The Simpsons. Skateboarding dog from The Simpsons. Yeah. And I looked at it and I went, "Oh no, they made her ride a skateboard. Why a skateboard?" the smoking dope and going up to the hill's fine, but the skateboard, just take the skateboard away. It really just reminds me of Poochie or whatever it was.
Poochie.
From The Simpsons, and that's the bit I kind of just kind of took me out of it. Apart from that, I loved all of it. I did think that Eric was being a bit of a dick towards What's His Mush at the end because he wants to go out clubbing with gay people, and that was his basic excuse for breaking up. I think that was a bit shallow, shall we say? And I can get that because it was I didn't quite. It, as I said, came across as very shallow and a bit narcissistic. Yeah, and it was like kind of. I did like the way. Who is that?
I think Eric wanted to be more open about his sexuality,
but he was
his face was still closed off.
He was slowly coming out piece by piece.
Yeah,
he really was. It's just he was having to do it at his own pace, which is fine. Let someone do it at their own pace. Don't force someone down a path that they don't want to go down.
You're not the only one. There has been quite a big backlash to the Eric breakup, and most people have said a similar thing, that Eric was quite shallow, which he was.
And it's annoying because I love the Eric character. He's great.
I do as well.
Yeah. Up until that point, I'm like, dude, I can see why you and I are friends because you're a nice guy. I'd hang around with you in real life. Yeah. He seems really kind of upbeat and happy and he's honest and all that sort of stuff. And
you had that whole thing about Nigeria, but I think they could have, had they gone into that a bit more and made more of a deal out of it, maybe made it 2 episodes, you might have realized, had a better appreciation for why Eric did what he did. But I think they rushed that bit a bit too much. But yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, no full season has been commissioned, but I'm assuming, bearing in mind the shot to #1 in an instant and is potentially one of Netflix's most watched things this year, it's going to get a full season. But
it needs a full season.
It does.
You made me worry that his mum was going to die at the end of the season.
I thought she was going to die.
I was like, shit, Keith, you bastard. Because I flicked through the thumbnails and there's one of Eric and Thingy in hospital because at one point I was worried that Eric was going to get arrested in Nigeria for being gay. Yeah. And there was going to be a big fucking hoo-ha over that. Yeah. I thought that was going to happen. And that's why I flicked through the nails. And I remember what you told me and I saw the 2 of them in hospital and I'm like, shit.
It's the scene where what's his face says, "I still need my mum." That's the bit that got me.
It's
that, and it really, really did get me. And I don't know, it came out of left field, but
for me, it's weird because it says it's called sex education, but that's the reason it's called that is it's to draw you in. Yeah, it's really about intimacy. Yeah, and all about the relationships and stuff, and those deeper connections that you have that when you do, start bumping uglies with someone, you wind up having, because everyone's had that relationship where it's not quite worked out. They said they don't love you. You said that you don't love them. That kind of thing, and we've all kind of had that through our lives one way or another. So we all know those things and all those scenarios and bits. And it was. The other thing too is anyone who's the arsehole in it has always got a good chunk of humanity about them. So if you look at the head teacher, the new head teacher they had in there, I can't remember her name now.
Hope.
Hope, that was it. Hope was having fertility problems and stuff, so she wasn't feeling very much like a woman. Yeah, and because of that, you kind of felt sorry for her. So she wasn't a complete arsehole, even though she was trying to do what she was doing. I'll be honest with you, I agreed with certain things. I like the way, and I'm sure I read this in an article somewhere on one of my Google feeds, that the reason they put the line down the thingy and had them walking in single file was because of COVID, so they could film some of the scenes during COVID. I'm sure I was told that, and I'm sure I might have told you that, or might have told Nigel it. But that was done really well. And then you've got it's the one with the sci-fi girl. Oh, what's the sci-fi girl's one? Who was dating Ola?
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. She was great because you kind of felt sorry for her because she was a bit weird, doing weird things and stuff like that. And it's like kind of I know loads of weirdos. I'm probably weird and I probably attract them. That's probably why. But that was that kind of thing with the news thing getting published in the newspaper. That wasn't like any good. And then there was so much in it. It was the previous head teacher and his brother,
Yes.
played by what's his mush, played Lorca in
Jason
Discovery.
Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs, thank you very much. And his brother is just a complete asshole. Yeah, and it's like he tries doing the.
I think somebody's arrived at a hotel.
Oh, just hang on a second. Just charging up the drone batteries. Need to recharge mine too. Castles.
He's
none
castle.
of those castles really work because we had a king who decided he didn't like castles, and that's why we don't have castles.
But it's quite true that there's a castle around every corner in Scotland. Literally, there are castles around every bloody corner.
there's also a heroin needle, but we won't go into that. Also saw
the Kelpies.
Kelpies. What are the Kelpies?
Nessie's.
Okay. All right. If I see just before we carry on, if I see Chuck's next video saying, "I found Nessie, I've got drone footage," yeah, and then it's just some pathetic blur because he thinks it's hilarious, yeah, I'm gonna blame you, Keith.
I think first vlog he's just gonna look at me and go, "Freedom!" No, paint your face white and blue.
No, because you might get confused for a Rangers supporter. Don't do that. That's a mistake. Don't get confused for Rangers supporters, especially near Celtic supporters. They're known for their violence, shall we say? Anyway, getting back to sex education. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't stop watching it. It was a really good one, and it was, as I said, it was like what's this, Otis and Maeve? They finally get together, and then she fucks off.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that's why you need a fourth series. I'm sorry, that's why you need a fourth series, because she went and then because it was like they go almost in the middle. They almost did. Then on the trip, they almost did. And then it gets to the end, they do, and then she's gone. And I was like, oh god, no.
It does need one, but whether we have Mordale High, obviously, I mean it. But the baby isn't Joan's baby, or isn't what's his face?
Oh god, yes, right at the end, I forgot that. Oh, yeah. I like what's his mush.
Yeah, I do as well.
I like him. He's a good. He comes across as a really good guy. They all actually say even the asshole previous head comes across as
but he had a redemption in this episode, and he needs that, and you need to further his redemption because she turns him down because of what the son says. I don't want Dad to be disappointed, but he hasn't had a chance to show. Look, I realized that I was an asshole, and I'm trying to change myself. So hopefully we get that, because actually, he found his love in cooking, and that was great. The way he was doing all the dancing around there, it was just a brilliant episode.
It was like because you could see in the first two series he had no real joy. And I say this a lot to people with couples who argue, is just make sure you both have got hobbies, something that brings you a bit of joy in between, doing stuff together, because otherwise you're going to go crazy.
Yeah.
And it's one of the truest things and it'll help any relationship ever. And he found that, and I think, I don't know if he'll get back. Even I don't think he's going to get back with the missus, but I think they're going to have a good relationship, and he's going to get on with his son. I think that's going to be his redemption. Yeah, I don't think she'll find anyone either, which is the weird thing. But then he might find someone, and then she'll be like, well, and then you'll get that kind of really good. Really good. It's a real lovely show. Anyway,
it needs a full season. It desperately needs a full season.
Yes, that's the problem with Netflix shows. They don't go past season 3 unless they're Stranger Things. Saying that, Stranger Things only barely makes it to the 4th season. There was a trailer out for it. Did you see the trailer out for it?
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
Makes no fucking sense. I think they might be trying to tell us maybe the origins of the Mind Flayer, as in it's someone in the house. I don't know if it's the mum or the dad or the kid or all three of them mixed together as one that might have caused caused that to happen. But then that's interesting. So yeah, it's interesting. I recommend you go and watch Sex Education. Don't watch it in front of your kids because it's
the opening scene.
aspect.
Yeah, don't no. Whoop.
No,
there was a penis within the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's what do you call it? It's their shtick to draw you in to get to watch romantic TV. It really is. That's what it is. It's because you think it's that raunchy American Pie kind of nonsense, but it's a bit deeper than that, which I'm actually glad to say. And it does have a kind of wokey sexuality politics in it, but it's not. Everyone's a good guy. Everyone's a good guy, and it's just the great thing about him. Anyway, I think we're done for this week, Keith. Is there anything you want to bring up?
No. I think we are. Behave, Chuck.
It's because he's not on his channel. If he was on his channel, he'd be behaving. We know this.
Yeah.
He
hasn't had any sleep for like over 24 hours. So bless him. Anyhow, no, I think go watch Foundation episode 2. Fingers crossed that Russell T Davis's news is positive. I wonder if we're going to get a doctor announcement soon. Just the timing of this, we might.
I think. Right, hang on a second. If it's going to happen, it'll happen at the end of this, towards the second to last episode of the current series, because they want people to come in to watch it, and that'll be the hook that they pull in. So if it's marketing wise, they'll do it that way. If not, it'll be at the beginning of the next season. I don't know. All I know is that Jodie Whittaker's been very good. Sorry, that's it.
Yep.
She was crap.
Yep. But I need to remind everyone that next week on Saturday we have another Factoids where I'm going to absolutely annihilate Gareth, because you have to let him win once or twice or he whinges in sulks.
I'm winning. I won the last one.
2-2 So now I obliterate you.
Okay.
I obliterate you. I've let you win a couple of episodes.
Obliterate me.
I've let you win your couple of episodes, so you won't sulk. And so now.
I think it's my notes for Factoids are on my work desk. Yeah. No, Chuck. No, I am the king of the Factoids. I invented Factoids.
Technically, right? Because we both won 2, right? Right, we've both won 2, but technically I've won 3. But that was the pilot episode, which he's not going to include. Because he's not. I was
trying to figure out how to make the thing work. I was doing my research. I've won 2. Yeah, I reckon. The other thing too is I reckon I know how to spot your Factoids too. Wink.
Okay.
I think I got it. I went back and rewatched and went, I see a pattern, Mr. Sycamore. So on that note, the Factoid's current champion, which is me. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Chuck. The current Factoid champion, which is me, would like to bid you thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you in the next podcast. See you later.
And the ultimate Factoids winner would say goodbye.
No, you're not. When I'm finished with you, Keith, you will be known as